we have our longtime friend of the Daverhood. He is a critic for citytour.com and culturevulture.net, and he is the former editor-in-chief of theatermania.com, long-running website, kind of a website that when I was working at Playbill, they were our chief competitor. But I'm beyond that, he's beyond that, and he's here once again in the Daverhood. He is Brian Scott Lipton. My glasses, thank you. Brian Scott Lipton, how are you, my friend?
Good morning, David. How are you? I'm doing very well.
Oh, that's great. You look great. So if you can just give yourself a little less headroom and a little more chin room. There we go. Anyway, so we're telling you about Brian Scott Lipton, and his category is going to be lead actress in a musical. I'm curious, why did you choose? Because I allowed the critics to choose the categories they wanted. Why did you choose this one?
Because I wanted to give myself a challenge. I honestly think of all 26 categories, this is actually the hardest one to predict this year.
Ooh, yeah.
So I thought, let's go for broke. I mean, as you know, I've been on your show for many years. I predict for Gold Derby, and I've won that competition probably 10, 12 times. So I thought, what the heck? Let's try for the tough one.
No, wait a minute. What makes it? I have to ask. Why do you think that you have this knack for predicting what the Tony nominator or the voters will predict?
Honestly, because I am myself a Tony voter, what I finally learned is my taste or my preferences seem to be very representative of the Tony voting pack in general, which is about 800 voters. So with the rarest of exceptions, I've learned the safest way for me to predict and often to win is to literally just vote my ballot.
Interesting. All right, because remember, Tony
doesn't always work, but it works more often than not.
Yeah, Tony voters are not all critics, by the way. They're producers,
It's a really good question because it's very hard to predict the opinions of 800 so people who I don't personally know. I mean, I may know some of them, but I don't know all of them. And Tony voters, as I think your audience would know, come from all walks of the theater, from actors to writers to designers to academics to behind the scenes people. So it's not a homogenous group in any way. And there are only 25 critics, frankly, who get to vote. So we're a very small part of this equation, which is why I don't tend to place a whole lot of faith on what critics say, because we're not, and especially in the cases, and we're about to discuss this, of the Otter critics and the drama critics, and the drama desk. While I respect those organizations and I am still a member of one of them, they don't really contain Tony voters for the most part. So it's not really the best indicator of who's going to win.
All right. Well, let's see if you have the knack this year, and certainly with this difficult category.
Yes, this one's hard.
Actress in a musical. Let me read the nominees to you. Okay. They're Megan Hilty from Death Becomes Her, Audra McDonald as Gypsy Rose, not Gypsy Rose, as Mama Rose in Gypsy, right. Jasmine Amy Rogers, the lead character in Boop, Nicole Scherzinger in the revival of Sunset Boulevard, and Jennifer Samard. So we've got two Death Becomes Her folks in here. Brian, what are your thoughts?
Okay, my first thought is I think this is an amazing category of women. I think I would be content in my own way if any of them made it to the podium. These are 5 people who truly, truly deserve to be nominated. But that said, only one of them is going to take home the trophy. Mm-hmm. So in sort of backwards order, I think Megan and Jennifer are individually giving 2 of the finest true musical comedy performances I've ever seen. I mean, they're both hilariously funny, very physical, and of course, great singers. But if there had been some way for the Tonys to nominate them as a team, which is something that is never done, other than the 1 year all the Billy Elliots for rotating, I think they'd have a really strong chance. But I don't see voters separating one for the other. This is sort of a tag team act. And so as good as they are, I kind of think they're out of the running. Going up the ladder, the next 3 ladies, any one of which could end up on the podium and any one of which truly deserves on the podium. Jasmine Amy Rogers made what I think may be one of the most sensational debuts on Broadway we have ever seen. Somebody who really came out of nowhere. I mean, when she was cast at Boop in Chicago, nobody had ever heard of her. It was basically an open call. And by the time she came to New York, most people still hadn't heard of her. And everybody that I know who has seen the show, critic to individual person, has been wowed by her true triple threat ability.
Yeah.
She does it all. She acts, she sings, she dances. She's beautiful, and she brings an extraordinary life to what is truly a cartoon character.
AKA Betty Boop.
Betty Boop, correct.
Yeah.
And the structure of the show is that, Betty Boop kind of comes alive and comes from the 1930s into the 2020s as a real living person. And it really is what one would consider a tour de force. And I think so much so that, yes, going back, she won both the Outer Critics Circle and she shared the drama desk, which are usually good enough indicators that I might say she's the front runner. But I'm going to say this is her first show, and the Tonys have a long history. I mean, there have been a few exceptions, but not many, of making you pay your dues rather than give it to you the first time out of the gate, especially if it's this kind of situation where I think Jasmine has a bright future. It's not like some special role, a kid role, or she's perfect for this show, but we're never going to see her again. I think we're going to see Jasmine for a long time. And I think this year she's just going to have to settle for a nomination.
Okay, so
Nicole Scherzinger, next on my list, playing Norma Desmond and Jamie Lloyd's very reinvented revival of Sunset Boulevard, is a slightly more complicated story. It is also it is her Broadway debut, but she has also been an international star, first as a member of the Pussycat Dolls and then through other appearances and on the British stage for like 20 years. So the Broadway debut label is a little bit misleading. What she does up there has really left viewers stunned. Her singing voice is just almost beyond description. It's so good. And it was certainly good enough that she won the Drama League Award, which is basically voted on by non-Tony voters. It's more of a regular people award. And again, I would say probably in any other year, this would be her award, and it could be. But I think the things against her, other than what the competition will get to, is
here comes politics.
Her performance is stronger in its singing maybe than in its acting, although she is a good actress. But the production doesn't really give her the leeway to really act in a way that the original Sunset did. It's minimalist, and there's just less there.
And didn't she piss some people off? Wasn't there a controversy about her a few months ago?
She liked, and I don't know that this really will play into it. A number of months ago, she apparently liked some tweets that were interpreted as favoring President Trump, which will not make you particularly popular in this community.
Right.
She claims that wasn't her intention. It had more to do with the Christianity aspect of the tweet, and that she is a devout Christian. I will also say that I have met her numerous times during the season, especially recently. And she has really been working the rooms and working hard to endear herself to Tony voters. And I have to say, I have not met a single person who has met her, and myself included, who has not found her to be gracious and humble and thoroughly undiva-like. And I will also tell you, unbelievably beautiful. The first time I met her, I was actually, and I am a gay man, but nonetheless, I was speechless because I really didn't know what to say when somebody that extraordinary looking comes up to you. And so
I face the same thing every time I go outside.
Exactly, me too.
Women, they go running the other direction. So Brian, we just have a minute or two left. But so, are you holding like the best for?
Yeah,
best
holding the winner for last, and I think the winner believe it or not, with Tony number 7 on her 11th nomination will be Audra McDonald for
Yeah.
Gypsy. And again, this is no slam dunk. First of all, it's not true Audra wins every time. As I said, she's had 11 nominations, but only 7 wins. So she does occasionally lose Tonys. And there has been some controversy about her performance, especially vocally. She does use her soprano head voice quite a lot. And for some people, that has been a problem who expect every Gypsy or every Rose, to be more precise, to sound like Ethel Merman. But I think there are 3 things in her favor. One, even those who detract it kind of admit that it's the best acted Gypsy they've ever seen. I mean, Audra is a consummate actress, and she has created her own spin on this iconic character, especially as a Black woman. And she has taken this as an acting role to new heights. I think there's going to be some bonus points and bonus votes for being a Black woman taking on this iconic white ridden role and making it her own and making it relevant. And yes, again, I don't know how much off the cuff controversies contribute, but as we all know, there has been some trash talking lately by Patti LuPone, who later, apologized. But it may have actually tipped the scales a little bit more in Audra's favor, because now people want to see her rewarded. And I also think, lastly, this Gypsy has only received 5 Tony nominations. And I honestly think of those 5, regardless of how merited they all are, Audra is their best and probably only chance to take home a win. I am really pretty sure they will lose the Revival Tony to Sunset. And the other actors, as good as they are going to lose to different actors. And so if the Tony voters want to recognize this really extraordinary landmark production, I mean, I don't think till you see it, you can really understand the impact of turning Gypsy into the story of a striving African-American woman trying to make her kids, and by extension herself, successful in a white-dominated world. I think this will be the Tony voters' chance to reward the Revival, and I don't think it can go unrewarded. So for that reason, I'm placing her at the top of the list, but it's truly anybody's game.
Well, we have been rewarded by being joined once again by Brian Scott Lipton. Make sure to read his reviews at citytour.com.
Thank you.
Culturevulture.net also, correct?
Yeah, correct.
So thank you so much, Brian. Have a great time watching the Tonys tomorrow, and have a fabulous season coming up. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Dave.
Have a great one. Bye-bye now. Okay.